Today I fucked up by decking a teenage boy and making him buy me snacks. Title spelling error. Today I fucked up by decking a teenage boy and making him buy me snacks. Edit, I'm editing to use the proper pronouns so not to offend people. A month ago, I, male, was in the park with my 7-year-old nephew trying to teach the kid to ride a bike. The damn kid was hopeless. After a few hours of training we were getting nowhere. He was failing after just 3 feet of riding. After an afternoon of fruitless endeavors, suddenly in one final attempt before we head back home, he manages to complete a 15-feet ride on his bike without the training wheels on! Exclamation mark. I was overjoyed, jumping up and down with my fists clenched in triumph, and out of nowhere I heard a cry from behind me, "Look out!" I turned towards my rear to see what it was about, and I ended up smacking this teenage boy with my clenched fist right on his face. It was a solid backhand right to his nose. His skateboard flew to the bushes and this kid is laying down starfished on the ground with his nose bleeding. I went to retrieve his skateboard along with my nephew, who had also fallen after 15 feet. When I got back to the teenage kid he was still laying on the ground. I said to him, "Are you okay?" "I'm so sorry." I then proceeded to lift him by his armpits to help stand him up. As soon as I did that I immediately regretted it. When I grabbed him by the armpits, I got a handful of boobs, taped boobs that is. They was using some sort of bandage to flatten their chest. That's when I realized, OMG, this is a transgender kid. They was about 13 to 14 by my guess. When I got them to stand up, their face turned completely red and along with their bleeding nose, I felt so awful. I immediately gave them my nephew's small face towel that he uses to wipe his snot to stop the bleeding on their nose. I then told them that we should get some water. All 3 of us went to one of the food trucks in the park and I got 3 bottles of water for each of us. After cleaning up their nose, it thankfully stopped the bleeding. I then said, "Let me get you some snacks," to apologize for what happened. "Anything you want." They order a hot dog and I order one for my nephew as well. When it was time to pay up, I realized that I was wearing the wrong pants that I had left my wallet in. I was mortified. So I told them to watch my nephew for a few minutes so I could run back home and grab my wallet and get back here. They said no, that they'd be fine paying for it. I apologized again and they went on their way. BTW, I apologize for all my pronouns. I don't really know what the proper pronouns are in this context. Too long didn't read. While teaching my nephew to ride a bike, I punched a teenager, molested their boobs and made them buy us snacks. Yes, I'm horrible person. Wow, definitely some shit that could happen to me. So glad it didn't, but now I have learned a few things. Don't lift people by armpits, that's where boobs hide. Who knew? Always have my wallet for apology hot dogs. Again, who knew? Have a snot towel. I feel dumb for not knowing this, but if I had kids I probably would, so maybe not dumb. 7 is an appropriate age to learn to ride a bike without training wheels. I figured way younger. Again, no kids. Keep arms tucked while rapidly turning. Important cause I have a huge wingspan. They is usually a safe pronoun. It just seems offensive by the basis of it, but I'm not trans so I won't presume to say. But my trans friends do say that they is okay. If I know what they are presenting as, I may go with he or she depending, but they is definitely the neutral and safe bet. And on your actual story, holy damn, just a bad time all around. This is a fantastic story. Usually this shit happens to me, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. Boobs, love it. I'm also using that from now on. Pronoun is almost never incorrect, and a good default to go to in this day and age. Thanks for giving us a laugh at your expense. That went from okay to wild and never came back down. Holy shit. Looks at title. Looks at too long didn't read. What? Today I fucked up by casting my home video to the living room TV. Well, Here I, M39, am, sitting in my parents' house in the bedroom that I'm using to self-isolate for a week, dreading the next time I have to open the door. It's been a long weekend, spending it alone in the bedroom. So tonight I decided to treat myself and watch a little bit of porn on the big TV in my room rather than just on my mobile as usual. Rather than gravitate towards a certain orange bannered site, I decided since I haven't seen my wife for a week, I'd fire up one of the rather intimate home videos we made. It's bad. We have been together for a very long time and aren't what you'd call vanilla. Without going into too much detail, it wasn't just the two of us in this particular clip. It seemed to be taking an age to cast. I couldn't understand it. According to my phone it was casting, but the screen in my room was still blank. I'm sure I don't have to explain the rest, and I'm now lying in bed mortified and dreading the next time I have to look my parents in the face. I happen to know they'd settled down to watch The Crown on Netflix and instead got an eyeful of their daughter-in-law enthusiastically engaging in a rather extreme sex act and also my pork sword. They haven't seen that for over 30 years. Fuck me, this is hideous, and my only hope is that I don't wake up in the morning. TLDR, within the last 10 minutes I accidentally cast a hardcore pornographic home video to the wrong TV and interrupted my parents whilst watching The Crown. Shit. This probably won't help, but my wife just sent a text about the fasteners for a sex swing being delivered to our family group text that had a good 35 people on it from both sides of our family. I thought it was a fucking riot. Her, not so much. A group text with 35 people? That's terrifying. While trying to set a picture of my balls as the screen background on my buddy's Android, I cast it to his TV. His wife, my sister, some friends all saw it, grimacing face, Lamau wallpaper. I accidentally mirrored my screen to the big screen right above the dinner table in front of our entire Friendsgiving party during dinner, while sending a sext of my tits to a friend with benefits. Thankfully they looked great in the photo, woman shrugging. I usually just lurk this sub and never say a word, but man, luckily I come from a family that would probably be as embarrassed as I'd be, but this is totally something that would happen to me. My condolences, brother. Here's to hoping it's never brought up by anyone, ever. Well, they got to see a crown all right. Haha, this helped ease the anxiety for a second or two, thanks. Today I fucked up by crashing my car into my house. I never dreamed I would have a good enough story to tell on Today I Fucked Up, but all good things must come to an end, am I right? Today started out like any other day. Woke up, took a dump, and was getting ready to go to work when all of a sudden, my wife comes to me because her car won't start. I go out to the driveway, jump her car, voila. I'm the hero husband. Then, I get in my car and put it in gear to back up the driveway and move my car out of the way so she could pull her car up. Sounds painless, right? In my moment of stupidity, I hit the gas too hard, wasn't paying attention to the rear view camera, and bam, I crashed the back of my Toyota Camry right into the brick facade of my garage. The car barely has a nick on it, but the brick wall is broken in half, as is my pride. Edit by popular demand. Here's a pic. TL, Doctor, I screwed up a pretty good day by backing my car into the exterior wall of my garage. Wife did this 15-ish years ago. Hammered the studs back in place and had the cracked stucco fixed and no troubles since. Might be smart to re-anchor the base stud, whatever the term is for the 2x4 on the bottom of the studs, to the concrete if you can. My wife's story was funny because I was in the house when she did it and you could tell something big hit the house. Went to the garage to ask what just happened, and she replies, oh, you could hear that, all innocent like. Lol. It wasn't actually anchored to begin with. Just the pressure of the roof holding it into place. I was literally 2 inches from disaster. How bad was the damage? Damn. Small nicks on the center of the bumper. It was a hollow wall. Moved a stud too, but was able to hammer it back in place. Dodged a huge bullet. Just tell your neighbors you were planning on renovating your garage and the demolition guys wanted too much. Thanks for a good chuckle. Just remember, cool guys don't turn around to look at explosions. It'll buff out.